What make of car would the apostles drive today? What make of car would the apostles drive today? A short answer will get you. The answer will get you a short homily. They would drive a Honda because they were in one accord. Discipleship takes being one accord with Jesus Christ. The gospel seems harsh. Hate members of your family. It's not that he really wants us to hate people, but he wants us to love God. And if we love God so openly and fully, the fruit of that will be caring for and loving others. But discipleship is so important. Paul sends a letter to his friend Philemon. Philemon is probably a man of means, a man of success, maybe some wealth. Onesimus was one of his servants, one of his slaves. And Onesimus stole from him and ran away, escaped, was caught, put in prison, and ends up with Paul, who is in prison, more of a political prisoner because of his teaching and preaching about Jesus Christ. And Paul speaks with and teaches and instructs Onesimus, who comes to recognize his erring way of life and repents of that and accepts Jesus Christ. He has a conversion. And so Paul would write this letter to his friend Philemon, give it to Onesimus, who didn't know what was in the letter, and would tell him, take this back to Philemon. And Philemon has a great problem, because if he accepts him back, members of his family may resent that. His fellow property owners and successful people in the community may also resent it, because then they might have to do that. You or I may be at some family gathering or among friends, and it just so happens the person next to us or across from us is someone who has offended us. And there's a tension there. How do we respond? Discipleship in Jesus Christ prompts us to respond in one accord with the Lord, and to seek that wisdom of God that helps us to comprehend the mercy of God that is kind of beyond our complete understanding, is brought out in that passage from the book of Wisdom. We have difficulty dealing with the things of the earth, the things of nature. Though science and discovery have certainly enlightened us tremendously, there is still a lot of mystery out there. And if we have trouble dealing with those things that are right in front of us, how are we going to deal? How are we going to capture? How are we going to describe what God is really like? And so we immerse ourselves in that mystery as we proclaim at the consecration of the Mass, the mystery of faith, that mystery of Jesus Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity, at our altar, given to us to nourish and strengthen us, so that we may go about our life in every age, recognizing the Lord is our refuge, as we responded to Psalm 90. St. Teresa of Calcutta recognized that. I was a student at Mount St. Mary Seminary in 1975, and she visited there. She had come to the States, giving some kind of a presentation in Washington, D.C., and she knew that St. Elizabeth Ann Seton had recently been canonized, and she wanted to go to her shrine in Emmitsburg. When our rector, now Archbishop Flynn, heard of that, he promptly called the superior of the Daughters of Charity and said she needs to come to the seminary, and she did. And I can remember her walking in, very, very tiny woman, very wrinkled skin from the weather and everything, the harsh conditions she lived in. And she walked in, and we all jammed into the chapel, and she went and knelt before the Blessed Sacrament and just prayed for a few moments. I don't exactly remember her words other than she kept saying, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. A very simple message. I do have the text at home that she spoke. It wasn't long, but she spoke about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus being the center. And in every missionary of charity convent throughout the world, the Blessed Sacrament is at the center of their lives. I've had the opportunity to celebrate Mass in one of their convents in Chester, Pennsylvania. The Eucharist is so important to them. And hopefully to us as well, that nourishes and feeds us. Lord, I am not worthy, we say. Speak the word, and whatever is in me that's broken, whatever is in me that needs healed, you have the power to touch that. And it may be the memories, and it may be the hurt and the insult that we had with that person that we meet up with at that family gathering or that reception or whatever it is, and we tend to pull back a little bit. And it may be in that very instance when we have a golden opportunity to be a disciple of Jesus Christ and to greet that person warmly. And whatever their response is, their response. We can't get inside their heads and micromanage their responses. But discipleship is challenging. It's difficult. We ask St. Teresa now to help us to go about our lives in a faithful kind of way. One story that was asked of her by a journalist who followed her around Calcutta. And every day she and her sisters would go to the train station, and they would gather up those who were dying, those who were very destitute, those who were starving. And she would bring them to their home for the dying, their residence for the dying. And the journalist asked her, don't you get discouraged? Every day you come and there are more and more people here. It seems overwhelming. And she answered very simply, we're not called to success, we're called to faithfulness. And we are called to faithfulness. And if it's that one person that we can greet along the way of our daily life, or hold the door for them, or offer them a compliment or encouragement, or listen to them, even though we've heard the same story before, and we can listen with attentiveness and offer some word of hope or encouragement, then that's what we do. That's what we do. We ask her and all of the angels and saints, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Assumption, in the presence of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, to intercede for us, to help us to be strong and vibrant in our faith, that we may be disciples of Jesus Christ. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Amen.